ready?
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll start the video.
Okay.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the
WBE.
to the WBE
What does it
Draft
stand for?
World Battle Entertainment, and I think
For-
it should be League, but I don't know if the L is in there.
The world best
Eaters.
entertainment.
Eaters.
The we. Either way, I'm very glad that I'm here with my
Co-host.
Wait, no, wait.
Oh yeah.
The manager
Yeah.
of the Slateport Spirits.
You're good at picking
And,
up information.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're here to try and talk a little bit about the draft. Because of course, yeah, you could draft multiple Pokemon in the singles league. One from the first tier and then one from the second tier.
And how many?
From the third tier.
Oh, okay. I thought you
guess.
memorized it. I didn't realize this was
And
on the
then-
screen.
Yeah,
So.
and then also, for example, a Mega, and then for 3 things, and a Z Crystal, which is a dynamic that I think is pretty interesting. Maybe we can elaborate a little bit in that going further, but yeah, first of all, welcome Wolf here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for taking over the Slateport Spirits, and yeah, what is your motivation like going into this league?
Yeah, so I guess for those of you who don't know, this is A-Drive's single battle draft league. The WBE league. And a coach dropped out mid draft. I was originally not a part of the of this league. I mentioned to A-Drive I thought it was really cool, and that if in the future an opportunity opened up, I'd love to be a part of it. And a coach ended up dropping out mid-draft at pick 8. After picking the 8th Pokemon, they're like, "Oh no, we don't want to restart the draft." And I was like, "Hey, like, I'll just take over." So I stepped in. So part of the reason why this isn't we're obviously not talking as in depth about the strategy of each Pokemon is that we didn't draft. I didn't draft the majority.
I'm
of
not
them.
even a part of this league.
Yeah, he's just stuck in my room. So I was like, "Hey, help me make a video." But yeah, it's a really cool system. It's a tiering system where you get, as Marcus mentioned, each of those tiers listed, and then you also get a certain allocation of points, and each tier has a different point requirement.
Yep.
I believe it's all in the fan doc, which I'll link down below, or I'll forget, but hopefully I'll link down below.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and so as Marcus mentioned, you get 5 Pokemon in each of those tiers listed. You get 1 Mega, and then your free allocation can be used. I used mine on like a tier 2, a tier 4, and 2 tier 5s, I believe. So but you could do different things as well.
Can you also do tier 1?
I feel like tier 1 might be too expensive because tier 1 there was one big jump where it was like a difference of 40, difference of 40, difference of 40. And I think one was like a difference of 60 or something.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe you could get a tier 1 as well, and then just get lower tier Pokemon. But
I see. Okay.
yeah. So anyway, so our first pick here that I didn't pick, but the previous coach did.
That you definitely like.
I like a lot is Landorus T. So anyone who's played VGC knows Landorus is one of the most dominant Pokemon of all time. I think it's fair to say, right?
And anyone who's played singles knows that Landorus also is very strong there. Usually used a little more defensively, more defensively. For example,
Is that
Rocky
true?
Helmet is pretty good set with a lot of HP. Stealth Rock's one of the most staple moves, but you can also just go for like a Choice Scarf, or with a new edition of the crystals, go for a Ground Z move or
A flying Z move, yeah.
Depending on what you want to break.
Landorus is a really versatile Pokemon, so I think it was actually one of the best possible picks right off the bat because Intimidate's so good and it has just such amazing stats, and it's also a Pokemon that, like Marcus mentioned, can run a lot of items. Scarf was used in VGC, Band was used in VGC, Assault Vest was used in VGC, and that's before we even talk about Z Crystals and
Sword Dance.
yeah, Swords Dance. Yeah, there's a lot of options. Yeah, so that was the first pick, and I thought it was a really amazing one. And the next pick we have here is from tier 2. It's Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn. It's Ferrothorn.
Ferrothorn.
It's Ferrothorn.
It's Ferrothorn.
It's definitely Ferrothorn. Look at it. Okay, ready?
Ferrothorn.
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 There's no A in there.
Either way, Ferrothorn complements very well with Landorus. You can try and go for some really destructive players. I already mentioned earlier, like Rocky Helmet, Landorus T, and then Ferrothorn's Iron Barb's ability, racking up that passive damage.
I feel like you're commentating. I feel like this is the middle of the VGC stream where there's no you know what I'm saying? There's no thing, and we're looking at the PGL data and we're like, oh, in that last match we saw Ferrothorn with its Iron Barb's ability.
Excuse me, I'm trying.
No, you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Trying to give some information over to the viewers who are probably
thank you for viewing,
not
viewers.
As much into singles as I am.
Right. Yeah, you are a singles expert.
Not anymore, but I had my good days.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ferrothorn also capable of setting up stealth rocks, but furthermore can also set up spikes.
Leech Seed.
And yeah, disrupt, Leech Seed, Jar Ball is a pretty strong move. Of course, Power Whip. So yeah, those two together really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, our good friend.
I wasn't talking about Ferrothorn. I didn't get to say anything.
Our good friend was trying to get here some defensive typing going.
Yeah. Wait, no, already. Landorus complements Ferrothorn really well because of the. Can we go back? I like looking at him.
Okay.
So Landorus can switch into fighting type attacks. Ferrothorn being one of the most like bulky Pokemon, especially.
Mr.
So, yeah, Ferrothorn being one of the bulkiest Pokemon, and also having access to, not one of the bulkiest Pokemon, but really good defensive typing, access to, like, leftovers and Leech Seed makes it, like, really difficult to, get rid of, and, like, yeah, it's a Pokemon you want to get rid of, but unfortunately it does have that, nasty 4x fire weakness, so if only there was something that could, I don't know, maybe, like, mitigate that weakness a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, but a good friend, of course, had a plan for that.
Yes, he did. Or she.
She?
Or it's possible. No, this is a mystery, Coach. Nobody knows who it is.
Oh, no one knows.
Yeah, nobody knows. I think I was definitely told and then forgot. So actually, I don't know either.
So not someone very. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, we have the Pelipper here. Of course. Yeah, setting up the rain.
I don't like Pelipper.
We can see Pelipper.
Look at his stupid
Would you have
face.
drafted that?
I don't think I would have, and you know I do think it was a good pick. It's just like it's. I feel like Pelipper, it doesn't have the best stats, right? So you're pretty much using it exclusively for its ability. And so although Pelipper, like, it's weak to Stealth Rocks, for example. Rain is really good, like, and obviously as you'll see from moving forward, that like I think Rain was a good plan because it allows you to get a lot of Pokemon from like lower tiers that would have been like that are in the lower tiers because of their reliance on Rain. But if in Rain they become really threatening. But yeah, like Pelipper as a Pokemon has underwhelming stats and not great defenses, and you kind of want it to stick around if you want to like have a bulky Pokemon to reset the rain. So I'm not crazy about Pelipper, but I do think that it's still like a solid Pokemon, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't really know where exactly Politoed ended up being, but was definitely
probably a higher tier. It's definitely a better Pokemon than Pelipper.
So, yeah, like what this Pelipper does is just in terms of like draft strategy. If no one else is gonna go for rain, then you can have free access to like all the good rain mons in the lower tiers, as Wolf was already describing.
Yes.
So yeah, with how this draft was set up, I think going for rain, like just the option of rain, like 1 or 2 abusers maybe, just gives you like not only like in preparation a lot of things to work with, because you can probably like which Pokemon your opponent is likely to bring because they want to combat the rain, but then also just like something you can like slap on team, like maybe just Pelipper plus 1 more Pokemon that can abuse rain. Set up for a late game sweep. So yeah, definitely gives some options. With Landorus and Ferrothorn, both not particularly like super great in rain, but as we were mentioning before, there's some synergy here and there. Fire Pokemon being threatened away by the rain. So yeah, I actually kind of like the approach here to try and go with the Pelipper. Yeah,
actually, now that we're talking about it, what I really appreciate about my previous coach's drafting strategy is that he wasn't super reliant on the rain.
Yes.
And I think that was actually really brilliant because obviously in a draft league you're expecting people to counter team. So even like random sunny day techs could be like really popular, but the fact that like rain is a mode you have to account for, but there's also other options if the matchup isn't good, I think is really threatening. There's Pokemon that don't necessarily rely on the rain. I think that was a good call.
Yep. And yeah, one Pokemon that can also fulfill multiple roles. One of them is
I really like Tornadus.
Being on a rain team is the Tornadus T. This was picked as a 3 pick, meaning that it was part of a higher tier. But yeah, with how this dynamic like now allows us to grab a Pokemon that can function outside of rain as well as inside rain, because Hurricane, of course, really good. But then even without that, you can still use Hurricane without rain, like people do that. Same with Focus Blast.
Singles players.
Yeah, singles players. Yeah. We will never understand.
I don't get it. I actually don't get it. I've started building for the league, like for like matches, and like people are like, oh yeah, like oh, on that Pokemon you should be using Focus Blast, and I was like, wait, but like why? But yeah, I really like Tornadus as a Pokemon. We actually had him on our originally MBL Season 1 team, so he's got a fond place in my part, in the part of my heart where my heart is. But yeah, I like that he has also like a lot of sets where he can run, where he can go physical with acrobatics. He can use Assault Vest. He can use Z Crystal, he can use specs like
Scarf. In
Scarf.
Worst case.
Yeah, like depending if they're a Pokemon that like exactly. So I really do like Tornadus as a Pokemon, and I love Regenerator as an ability, especially in singles where like it's like a lot easier. To me, it feels a lot easier to switch in and out because you're only threatened by one Pokemon a turn at most.
Yeah, and you can really like pivot between Tornadus, Ferrothorn, and Landorus. It's like you can switch between them. Tornadus will regenerate damage.
Electric type is like Tornadus' electric weakness really supported by Landorus and Ferrothorn. The rock weakness is Landorus is neutral and has Intimidate. Ferrothorn has a rock resistance. Yeah, ice weakness is obviously not great so far, but can we keep a running counter on how many Pokemon are weak to freeze dry?
Okay.
We're at 3.
Yep.
And 2 or 4 times weak.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Next Pokemon.
Your boy.
Gengar.
Maybe you can figure out why he drafted Gengar, he or she drafted Gengar, because I don't really know. Like, I don't know enough about singles. Like, I respect that like every other pick he's made has been good, so I'm not doubting Gengar. I just don't really see how it fits in this team.
Do you know what exactly the dynamic was like in terms of like how much it was worth? And
I believe it was tier 2 actually. Okay. So like I believe it was pretty expensive.
Okay.
I was told that in singles there's not a lot of good ghost switch-ins, which makes sense to me.
Yep. Ghost is pretty good neutral typing. And maybe depending on like how the other coaches had drafted in the previous rounds,
right?
There was a tendency where Gengar, because it's just like so naturally fast, like something you can do. Like for example, us being VGC players, we always like account for potential like Trick Room teams. So like just stacking up fast Pokemon doesn't seem like a very good concept because you can just like
Trick Room and lose,
or Tailwind it, and but in singles, speed control isn't as easy to pull off. I mean, sure, there's like Sticky Web, but besides that, Trick Room, is a little bit of an iffy concept. So just having another fast Pokemon in Gengar that can potentially run like Choice Specs or Choice Scarf, and really like with Tornadus and Gengar, just two really fast Pokemon with decent neutral coverage. Like Hurricane hits a lot of stuff super hard, and then like Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb is also kind of decent. So while there's still like, for example, a weakness to maybe Steel types in Rain or something like that, just another Pokemon that is like strong offensively. I think this probably was like a kind of like an anti pick, seeing what the other coaches have drafted. Okay. Maybe this is strong against certain Mega Pokemon that are like at 100 base speed.
Right, like I think Glade base 100?
It's faster than that.
Is it? But it's slow. It was 100. I thought it was 105.
Mega
Glade is.
I think it's 100. Oh, yeah.
I think it's 105.
I think it's faster than that.
Okay.
We can look that up.
Yeah, we'll look it up. Wait, 115 would mean it's Persian speed, wouldn't it? Isn't Persian 115? How fast is Persian? It hits 183 stat.
Yeah.
So minus, oh my god, 16? 167 minus 32 is 100 and... Wait.
Isn't it slower then?
Yeah, that's 115 base speed.
I think...
Is Glade as fast as Persian? You want to Google it? Anyway,
maybe if it's 110.
You Google it. It might be 110. It might be 108 as well. I always forget. Is it faster than Thundurus? There's no way it's faster than Thundurus.
That's probably 110 then.
How fast is Thundurus? 100? Thundurus
111.
Oh, 111.
Yeah.
Is Gengar 108?
110. Manipulate 110. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that faster than Gengar?
Yeah. No, it's the same speed.
Nice. Anyway, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. But what I like about Gengar as well is that it has even though it's not very bulky, it still has different sets it can run. Like, and single, something like Sub-Disable could be used, for example, I think. Willows might be easier to pull off. I've always liked the idea of Pain Split Gengar, but it's probably not worth it because obvious reasons.
Sash is difficult to keep intact with Stealth Rocks around.
Yes, and Sand. Well, I guess Sand isn't that popular. And you also have the option for Specs and Scarf as well, just like with Tornadus. Just like
Gengar is just a solid Pokemon.
Yeah, cool. And actually, okay, yeah. So up until this point, he hadn't drafted any Pokemon that relied on rain. So I think that was really smart to get like the better Pokemon because he knew that most likely why would you take Mega Swampert if you didn't have Pelipper? Every game he brings like a Damprock Pokemon and rain dances. They're like, yeah, Swampert, let's go.
So perfect, makes perfect sense, as the Mega Pokemon is, I believe, the only Mega Pokemon that has an ability that benefits from rain.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and like stacking up typings here with the Landorus isn't the worst thing, because if you're running like Pelipper and Tornadus, then having another ground type really isn't too bad, because like Landorus and Mega Swampert, they don't share any weakness except for Freeze Dry.
Right, except for Freeze Dry. let's take up the counter. We got 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're at 4 out of 6. Yeah. So 2/3 of the team is weak to Freeze Dry. But yeah, Swampert, Mega Swampert is like cool because like although it's not naturally fast, and with Swift Swim it becomes really really fast, able to outspeed the majority of Pokemon on opposing teams. It's got pretty good defensive typing. It's only weak to Grass, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, which is like really
And
great.
Freeze-Dry.
And Freeze Dry. And we obviously with a team that has multiple flying types, we generally threaten Test. We generally threaten grass type testy. We generally threaten grass types in general, and really good bulk. Honestly, Mega Swampert is pretty phenomenal bulk and a great attack stat that also benefits a lot from the water boost from rain. So
yeah, and something we haven't talked about yet is the fact that with how the mechanics changed for Mega Pokemon, now Mega Swampert instantly getting the speed boost from Swift Swim in rain, meaning that it doesn't have to like spend a turn sitting around, like being slow, maybe protecting, as in previous years in VGC. Instead, you can just instantly go on the offensive. You can switch in regular Swampert, Mega, and then be fast the same turn, and then really just revenge KO or something.
Yes. Let's just make sure it's still recording. Yeet. Test. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, so the next pick was the Flying EMZ, and I think it's pretty straightforward why. With 3 Pokemon that are flying type without even stacking that many weaknesses, Flying EMZ allows us to use Z-Fly and Z-Hurricane, and I think that's the main one. I already looked it up. There's not really any good status moves. It doesn't do anything good, I don't think.
Okay.
I looked it up.
Does it have, like...
I think it raises crit chance?
I don't... Yeah.
I think it does, didn't you with the Boom Talonflame? Yeah. Oh, it wasn't Boom Talonflame, that's right. Yeah.
That was fun.
I don't really think there's much more to say here. Just like a really...
Quick Attack Talonflame.
It was Quick Attack?
Yeah, you raised... I think so. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's a weak attack, and then you attack your partner.
Oh, when you crit 50% of the time, you crit.
Yes.
Like Tauros and activate a Crocodile and activate Anger Point. Yeah. What a good team.
What a good team. So yeah, we don't really know. I mean, I don't know at this point which of the crystals were already gone. I definitely think, like, for example, Ground also could have been an option for Landorus, but then you're pretty...
It's pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious where it's going to be because you can't use it on Swampert.
Yeah.
And then maybe Ghost for the Gengar.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, like Flying definitely making a lot of sense.
Yes.
Because with Landorus, your opponent always has to fear the Z flying all of a sudden. Because in previous years, for example, say you had an Amoonguss in front of a Landorus, like the Amoonguss was in a pretty solid spot. Like this is talking VGC terms again, but you get it, right? But nowadays, with Z Fly, similar to what like Salamence does, for example, sometimes, or Gyarados with Bounce, only you really use the move for the one attack. And if you can like nuke something, then yeah, in singles, if you can like punch a hole into something that your opponent didn't expect, that can be super good.
Z-Fly is just so, like, Landorus is such an enormous attack stat that when you pair that with this, I think getting a Z-Crystal that Landorus can abuse is, like, very good. Yeah. Next up. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, next up,
let's stop the recording and I'll edit it together because... Oh.
Ditto? You have Ditto?
Yeah, I have Ditto. Let's actually stop the recording and start it again because my computer's starting to lag.
Okay.
This happens sometimes. Version 2. Why is it making that noise? Man. Test. Hey. It's me. ASMRkus. This is the sound of my water bottle. Is that a nice sound? Next up, we have a bowl with a spoon. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the pages of this book. Relax your mind. I don't really know how this works. Okay. Anyway, next up we have Ditto. That's pretty impressive. This is the best draft analysis I think the league will ever see. Okay, anyway. Thank you. Ditto.
It can come in any
Shape and size.
And yeah, it can really screw you over. Yes.
Gotta go fast.
Kingdra.
Also a member of... we have Gengar, who we drafted in NBL. Tornadus 2, who we drafted in NBL. And then we got Kingdra, who we drafted in NBL. So 3 good Pokemon.
Have
Kingdra...
you ever used Flynium Z?
No. Oh, wait. Oh, it's a serious question, because we played this year.
Yeah.
We never used it on Zapdos. We didn't have any other flying types, so probably not.
Yeah.
That's okay. Kingdra, a good Pokemon. Not that diverse.
You mentioned it was like Kingdra, a good Pokemon. Like, click.
The Kingdra's not that diverse. It can run Life Orb, it can run Choice Specs. It can run Focus Energy, Crit Draw, Scope Lens. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, I can't really think of that much else that it can do. But it's just like it's like
Dragon Dance.
Oh, I guess it could. I guess
Chest Arrest.
Yawn. Sable.
DD.
Yeah. So there's options obviously, but it's not the most diverse Pokemon. But it also is a Pokemon you don't want to be really taking multiple attacks from Kingdra, except unless in special cases. It's a Pokemon that if you lose your water resist, you're not going to want to be taking any kind of water attack in the rain. Like Specs Hydro Pump in the rain is not something you want to be going up against, I think.
Yep. Also, the fact, by the way, the fact that this draft includes their own Ferrothorn means that opponents can't have it.
That's a very good point.
It's just one Pokemon, right? But definitely something that you don't want to face. And so, yeah, if you have the Pelipper, Swampert, and Kingdra squad, like if you go full out on Rain, and then maybe say back that up with like Flyum Z Land or something like this,
and Ferrothorn,
you can like really overpower some of the resistances because ideally. Of course, all the other coaches want to like tech for every single matchup, but you really need like at least say 2 water resistances if you want to withstand the raw power of the rain. So yeah, I think definitely makes sense to go with another water type because say you start off with Kingdra in rain and then you like really chip in the switches with say Specs Surf or something, and then yeah once your Kingdra is gone, then all of a sudden the Mega Swampert making an appearance, cleaning the field. So yeah, that can definitely be a game plan. So it's just not sufficient to have like one Pokemon that can take on those rain sweepers. Yeah, and Kingdra's secondary type being Dragon means that water, grass, dragon types that resist water may not always, like a lot of those Pokemon may not enjoy taking a boosted or like a powerful dragon move. Yeah, but yeah, I think you said it perfectly. Yeah, it can also be like the crit draw on the special side with Draco. Yes, which is really scary actually. So, though it is a bit slower, but versus slower teams or if you set it up properly, then I definitely feel like Kingdra with like Focus Energy can still be valuable. So this is the first thing that I picked. Yeah, you picked Kingdra? No, the next one. Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because now, this guy took over the draft. So sorry, I'm so sorry. What did you feel like when you were given this information? So I was given a tier 5 and 2 tier 5s and a tier 4. So I didn't have that many good Pokemon available to me. So like looking at what was left, I was like trying to find Pokemon that were, in my opinion, in a lower tier than they should have been. And something that jumped out to me was Ludicolo, and apparently Ludicolo is not very good in singles, and that's really surprising to me because Ludicolo has a lot going for it. Assault as Ludicolo is really bulky. It's got good defensive typing. I really appreciate that Ludicolo. Like if you look at this team, like there's not that many Pokemon that really love switching into Scald, for example, especially in Rain. We do have obviously 2 water types in Ferrothorn, but we like especially if a water type is launching Scald. If your Ferrothorn gets burnt, like I don't have an electric type at this point. And so there's not that many Pokemon that can deal with water types outside of Ferrothorn, and so having Ferrothorn be damaged or burnt and losing like a lot of its offensive prowess, I thought was like kind of worrying. And also just being a VGC player, I'm a fan of Ludicolo because it's been so good a lot of the years that it's been allowed. Like in 2014, it was really amazing. 2012, it was really good as well, and that was even before Assault Vest was an item, wasn't it? Yep. Yeah. So I really appreciate a second grass type on the team, especially like one that doesn't share any weaknesses with Ferrothorn, and I really like. I liked the secondary option of Swift Swimmer. I like the idea of a bulky or like especially bulky Swift Swimmer, and Ludicolo can also go offensive as well. It's not is it the same base special attack as Kingdra? It feels way weaker.
But maybe it's just because it doesn't get muddy water. I don't really
It's
know.
also, you also don't run max special attack.
That's true, yeah, you run bulky Ludicolo.
I think it might be a little lower, but I don't actually know.
I don't know either, because I think Kingdra's base is 95 or something across the board, and Ludicolo can't be that much weaker.
Maybe Ludicolo even has 100.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, but that's what I have to say about Ludicolo. It gets Fake Out, which is not very good in singles.
Yeah, I think that Ludicolo might be a Pokemon that the previous owner of this team also had in mind because of how, like, in what tier it was. But yeah, definitely good job, Wolf, picking up on that and claiming another Pokemon that in Rain definitely is better than the tier that it was in.
Agreed.
So now with this draft, you already have like the very strong Rain core. Now adding another Swift-Gym Pokemon to it. You have like a lot of super strong staple Pokemon. So were you now with the last two Pokemon trying to go a little bit more in a, like, I don't know, consistent way, or did you try to, like, maybe there was like one or two matchups where you knew, okay, Rain isn't gonna do it here, I need to like put in a trick like specifically for this one guy, or maybe.
Exactly. So like, or I guess for me, with like going into the last two picks, I was talking to Pokeaim and Chimpact, who were really, thank you guys for helping me out, because that was a huge help. I was really lost, and they pointed out that I didn't have a single Pokemon that was even that resisted Dark.
Yes.
So like a strong Dark type move could be
Ghost.
Or Ghost, yeah. So like those two typings could be really threatening. And I was like, oh no, you're right. Like I don't have anything, and there was very few Pokemon left that I could choose from.
Yep.
And I was like, huh? So then they were like, you know, like one of the best Dark type Pokemon that's left is Guzzlord. So I know Guzzlord gets a lot of flack for not being the best Pokemon, but I picked it here. I know it doesn't seem super like it synergizes super well with the rest of the team, but honestly, it's got pretty good stat. It's got a bad.
It's got good HP.
It's got good HP. It's got great HP. It doesn't get Wish, unfortunately. Wish Pass Guzzlord. Wish Pass Guzzlord could be pretty cool in my opinion. Wish Cash Guzzlord could be pretty cool. But
Wish Pass Whiskash.
I mean, maybe there's like a choice band set that could be used. Maybe 50% berry leftovers. Maybe Toxic and like stockpile rest. Like there are options with the thing. It's really, I picked it mainly for the typing. A second dragon type obviously isn't the best. But we do have like Ferrothorn for both fairies and dragons. So you know, like I recognize that it's not the best Pokemon, but I didn't have a lot left to work with, and I really did want to Dark Resist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for the last Pokemon.
I wanted something cute.
Was it which tier was left?
Tier 5 again,
tier 5.
the lowest tier.
Yep. So the very lowest tier, and Wolf, of course. Yeah.
It's so cute
to come up with something clever here.
So cute. Look at his little face. Look at his mouth. Is it with 1G or 2? I never remember. 2Gs. See, can't spell Sligoo without GG.
GG or without O.
Without ooh.
Yeah, solid. Of course, the ability really also, playing into the whole rain scheme with hydration, getting rid of status at the end of the turn.
I drafted 3 dragons.
Yeah.
And Ditto.
Yeah, so.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, and with Eviolite, since of course there wasn't any other Pokemon on the team already that could carry that item.
Yeah.
Is Item Clause in fact for this?
No,
team?
it's not.
It's not. Okay. Yeah, but still.
You don't want too many Eviolite Pokemon because generally they lack in power, anyways, right?
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say like. Eviolite is a good item. I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, but Sligoo can come in on any resistant attack. Does it get all the abilities that the Gudra also has?
No,
it doesn't get gooey, right?
I think it gets Sticky Hold, which with Eviolite is actually a lot better. Like, I mean, obviously you're mainly going to want to be using Hydration, but you do have the option of Sticky Hold.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Sligoo. I like Sligoo because of Hydration, primarily, like Marcus said. Hydration plus Rest is really good. But also it has really good base special defense stat. I didn't know that. And like because singles you're able to do stuff like Toxic, for example. It also gets like moves that boost its defense. I believe it actually gets Counter, which could like kind of compensate for its lower special defense or lower physical defense. So I think it has options. It's not the most offensive Pokemon, but as a pivot, especially on a team without that many resistances, like because the bad thing about, you know, we have 3 dragons, we have 3 flying types, we've got 4 waters, Pelipper, Kingdra, Swampert, Ludicolo. Like we're not stacking resistances that well. So I think having a bulky Pokemon that can come in and like especially on special attacks and rest off the damage could be worthwhile.
Yeah, and also rest, like really counteracting stuff like whatever toxic spikes or other stuff. So you really have Sligoo that can come in on any status moves and getting rid of it instantly, or you can like rest and then set up rain later on or whatever. So yeah, Sligoo I think is also a Pokemon that can, for example, have room for like a tech move in a weird matchup, like some obscure hidden power that hits something for 4 times super effective.
It's like the perfect Bulu counter, right? Because I think it still gets Sap Sipper. Sap Sipper like Sludge Bomb.
For example, yeah, exactly. If you feel like your draft is struggling against that. So yeah, that's gonna be the whole draft here. Round 1, is that gonna be up?
Sunday, I believe. I think Saturday is the team analysis. Sunday is the battle.
Okay, and when does what day is it today then?
It's Tuesday, but we'll probably put this up
at the time that this goes up.
Tomorrow? You think tomorrow's good? Wednesday?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Fine, cool.
We just put it up now. That'd be kind of funny.
Okay.
Now we'll put it up tomorrow.
Okay. So, yeah, I hope you guys got a little bit of an insight here in this league. For Wolf, of course, it's very, very new. Can you, I'm not sure if you talked about this before, but can you give us a little bit of like your background as a singles player?
Yeah, I started in singles, and like I started playing singles in like Gen 4, but I also stopped in I might have like right after Gen 5 came out, I might have played a little bit, but I think I stopped shortly thereafter because I discovered VGC and started putting my time into that. So I was familiar with Smogon at the time. I like played a lot in the ladder. I was decent at the time, but I haven't. It's been a while. Obviously, that's like a couple generations ago since I've played any singles. So I'm really excited to kind of see the comparisons. I think I could learn a lot about like Pokemon in general as a general game rather than just formats if I can start to understand singles. So I mean, like Adrian's talked a lot about this, but the league is for fun, right? So I'm not going into this with like the most with like a super competitive mindset, but I still would like to kind of prove that Pokemon maybe can transcend formats, and if you're good enough at like the general game, which is something I think, for example, Joey Pokegame demonstrates that like you can do well in other formats as well. So I'm just kind of here to make some waves, have some cool sets, have some fun games, and make a splash with the spirits.
Okay, cool. Then one last question. Just for the people out there who might be not as familiar with the whole league concept, can you just give like a very short rundown, like how many people are in the league and how often are battles going to be uploaded, or what's the upload schedule for these videos?
It's 12 people, and then there's battles once a week, so it's a round robin format. You play for 12 weeks, and I have no idea what the top cut size is. Okay, cool. But I'm sure this is a top cut.
Or maybe there's not.
Or maybe there's not, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Thank you to Dan for having me. Thank you so much for Marcus for being the host of this episode.
It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks for coming out, Wolf.
Oh, thank you so much.
And, yeah, that's it. The Slateport Spirit Reporter heads out. I hope you guys will have a lot of fun watching this, and then also, of course, the upcoming weeks. Who's your round 1 opponent?
I'm playing Faint Attacks, and his team is like very scary. We've got Celesteela, Suicune,
Mega Gardevoir,
and Kyurem Black.
Okay.
I think most of those might have been his first 4 picks or something, and I was like, oh no.
That's gonna be a tough one. So keep your eyes open for that. Of course, you can also check out all the other participants in the league. And check out the fan doc that will be linked in the description below, I think.
Yes.
So yeah, that's gonna be it from us. Have a good day, good time, wherever you are.
But above all else,
keep it
sliggy. Nice.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.